This is Gear Diary's look at the Moshi Meta cover for the iPad Air 2. Hi, Dan from Gear Diary. Today we're going to take a quick look at one of the more unusual and the most versatile cases for your iPad Air 2. It comes to us from Moshi. It is the Meta cover for the iPad Air 2. It has an MSRP of $74.95, but to get the most out of the Meta cover, as we're going to see, you'll want to pick up the magnetic mount and the wall mount. The magnetic mount has an MSRP of $49.99. The wall mount has an MSRP of $39.95. So pretty quickly, you're going to get to about $150 for the system, but what you get for that $150 is really, really impressive. So let's take a look at the case and then take a look at the two different mounts that you can buy that work with this case. So this is the Meta cover. It has the same design as the Moshi Versa cover. So it has this origami design on the case itself, which actually folds into a stand, so that you can actually keep your iPad up in both portrait and in landscape. But it does a lot more than the regular Versa cover, which is simply a cover. This actually is a shell within the Meta cover that is removable, so you can actually use it with your iPad in the shell only. You can use it with the Meta cover if you're traveling or you need a built-in stand, or you can actually take the shell and you can use it to attach to either the wall mount or the magnetic mount. So let's take a look at the case a little bit more closely and then put an iPad Air 2 into it and take a look at what that offers. So if we open the case, what you see is that there is a shell inside, and you can rotate the shell and it actually pops off of the case itself. So now you have the portfolio shell, the portfolio case right here, and inside you have the Moshi name right here, this nice textured material, a cutout for the camera. And inside you have this locking mechanism. And that locking mechanism goes right into this mount right here, and it clicks in place. So why is this unusual? Well, when you want to actually take your iPad out and use it, you take the shell and you place it. It's a little bit difficult when you're not looking right at it. Place it into the cover, similar to the Versa cover, and you then lock it in place. And now this is one unit that holds your iPad, protects your iPad, and lets you get all the functionality of the Versa cover. You can actually have landscape, you can have portrait. It's a really nice design. When I first saw the Versa cover, I wasn't so sure about it, but having used it, it actually is really, really functional. Where this becomes even more useful is that you can actually take it off of the cover and you can grab one of the optional mounts. These are the mounts, and the mount goes into it magnetically and locks in place. So now my iPad's not going anywhere, and as you can see, you can actually rotate it around and angle it in the best way that you want. Now the mount itself comes in two styles. This is the portion that goes onto and connects to the Meta cover's metal plate. This is the side that actually does the business work. And what you can do is you can pick up the version for the wall, and this is the version for wall. There is a plate here with adhesive right here. There are also screw holes if you want to use the screws, and you can actually take it and you slide the cover right on it, and it actually sticks to your wall. So now you can actually put your iPad on the wall and it'll stay there. And it does happen to ship with the screws so that you can actually use the adhesive, but also you can screw this solidly into the wall if you are concerned about the adhesive not holding. Put the plate on the wall, take this, slide the mount over it, and now when you want to actually use your iPad, you take the shell and you click it right in, and now you can actually angle it so you can see it. So where would this be useful? Well, if you use, for example, your iPad in the kitchen, you can actually take this mount and put it on the wall in your kitchen, screw it in place, use the adhesive, and then slide the mount over it. Now this sits in your kitchen, and when you're ready to use your iPad in the kitchen, you simply take your iPad, put it in the case, lock it in place, and you now have an iPad in the kitchen. If you want to use it at your desk, you can actually put this on the wall behind your desk, put your iPad there, and now you have an additional screen, but it's up and out of the way. You can put it at eye level. Really, really useful, really, really smart. The other option is the magnetic mount. The magnetic mount has the same mechanism for locking in place as the wall mount, but this one has really heavy-duty magnets. You can actually stick this on your refrigerator, for example, and have it waiting on the refrigerator. Put your iPad there, and you can, when you're in the kitchen, you can use it to watch movies. If you have an extra iPad, for example, that you're not really using all the time, you can then actually use your iPad as a message board if you want. Slide the iPad in, click it in place, and you're good to go. And if you don't want the bulk of this, you can simply slide the mount up and off of it, and now all you have on the refrigerator is this magnetic mount. You can also use it pretty much on any other metal that the magnet will hold to, and the mount goes right onto it. Now, what I really like about the system is that the mount is the same whether you're getting the magnetic or the wall mount. The difference is the wall mount ships with this backing plate with adhesive and screws. The magnetic mount, a little more substantial, a little heavier and $10 more, has magnets on it, so you can stick it there without having to permanently affix this to anything else. Both times, both ways, both approaches let you use your iPad in places where you would not necessarily use it. So let's take a look at the iPad in the shell, look at it on the case, and look at it on the mount as well. So getting your iPad into the shell is a really simple process. You simply take your iPad, slide the end with more buttons in first, and then you simply press down. It is not difficult to get your iPad into it at all. Now, when it is in the MetaCovers shell, you actually get complete protection around the outside of your iPad. You get protection along the back as well, and you get an extra ridge here, which actually will give you a little more protection, but you do have a nice cutout for the camera, so you can still use the camera, although I find myself using the rear camera on the iPad very rarely. I use the front camera for FaceTime, the rear camera very, very rarely. If we look at the front, you get complete access to the screen, but you do get a little bit of lay on the table protection. Here on the bottom, you have a cutout for the lightning connector, but it's actually solid here, which could potentially be a problem because the speakers are right here, except for the fact that there are these two openings here that actually take the sound coming out of the iPad and push it forward. Actually, that's going to give you better sound from your iPad anyway. If you're using it to watch movies, now the sound is going this way. Obviously, it would be better if there was one speaker on one side, one speaker on the other, but that's not how the iPad Air 2 is designed. But it does take the sound and push it out. Now, if you want to use the iPad on the go, you simply take the cover, put the iPad in place, rotate, and now the iPad is completely locked in place. Flip the cover over, and you have a nice, relatively thin portfolio for your iPad Air 2, nicely protected, and you have this built-in stand that you can use it to watch movies. You can use it with a separate Bluetooth keyboard. You have this nice stand built into the case. When you're ready to go, pull it over and you're covered and protected as well. Take the iPad out of the cover, and then you can take either of the mounts, put the iPad in the mount, rotate, and now the iPad is locked in place using the mount, either the magnetic mount or the wall mount. It is a neat way to use your iPad on the go and have it really well protected, and to get other functionality from your iPad that you would not have if you weren't using this case in the system. The versatility that is offered by the MetaCover is really, really impressive. This is the MetaCover system from Moshi. The case itself has an MSRP of $74.95. The wall mount is $39.95. The magnetic mount is $49.95. You're looking at $150 if you want to get the case and two of the mounts. But for that $150, you have the ability to use your iPad in ways that you never dreamt of. The Moshi MetaCover system from Moshi. Please take a moment to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We would be most appreciative if you would consider doing so. This is Dan from Gear Diary. Thanks very much for watching.